Hi everybody, good morning and welcome to the Ben Taylor podcast. Today we're talking about a tender monitoring system, and this podcast is brought to you by the Superyacht Services Guide, a highly trusted directory on board many large yachts all around the world, full of services that you can trust. So today we're talking to Yacht Trace. Hi Deborah.
Hello.
Good to
Hi,
see
Ben.
you. Hi Dan.
Good to see you.
Are you all right? So give us some context first, because this is quite an interesting space. It's particularly niche, which I always like.
Yep.
But what is the whole tender monitoring thing about, and what are you guys doing at Yacht Trace?
Yeah, so basically tenders are getting bigger. They have done for quite a few years now. Insurance companies are a little bit concerned that often tenders can be lost. So we've come up with a product that protects the tender, helps the insurers, and basically keeps it safe for towing.
And is there more towing going on?
Yes.
Than historically?
Yes, far more.
Is that technically a chase boat type thing, or is it just, tenders are now bigger, there's often not enough room to have them actually on board, and so what happens? Well, they tow it on a line behind the boat.
Yeah.
Is that
It's a bit of
generally the
both,
situation?
really.
Okay.
I think a lot of captains probably chance it, or they've got somebody at the back constantly on the lookout, and they've probably done that for many years. But now, at a reasonable price, you can have a system that basically tells you everything that goes on in the tender, the bilge, the battery, the pitch, the roll, the dynamic geofence, the distance between the two in case a tow line breaks, and that information is instantly sent to the mothership, so that you don't have to keep looking at the back, and it's preemptive, so you can stop the tow and you can go and
Right, yeah. So
help,
it's about preempting the danger,
That's
so
it.
nothing bad happens.
That's it, yeah.
And without a system like this, you would otherwise just be kind of looking back at your tender thinking, I'm pretty sure it's all right.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so. Maybe it's rocking a bit much, or you kind of think the bilges are on, but you might not know the battery levels, all this kind of stuff.
That's right.
Yeah,
exactly.
definitely. Yeah.
Okay. And so what are the big risk factors? So you mentioned quite a lot of metrics and parameters that you actually measure. I'm particularly impressed by the gyroscopic disruption. That's quite cool. And what factors are the important ones that impose risk to the tenders? So which ones are the insurers
It's probably
concerned
it's
about?
more. I would suspect it's to do with the bilges and the pumps. The fact if the bilges are filling up essentially,
Yeah.
which we monitor, because that usually is the start of the problems that get worse. So
Right, okay.
the boat. I think Captain told me an inch of water and a reasonable sized tender is about a ton of water. So as soon as that starts getting, and then that puts extra strain on the line, and things sort of snowball after that.
Right,
And it can
okay.
happen surprisingly quickly.
Within 5 minutes.
And in 5
Yeah.
minutes,
Really?
yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, £1 million tender behind you.
Yeah, that's
5
it.
minutes later, it's
Gone.
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 Like it's
Yeah.
you just see a
Literally.
rope going underwater.
That's it,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's wild. And on the briefing, you wanted to make a really clear distinction between tracking and monitoring.
Yeah.
Can you kind of define those differences and what's going on with the Yacht Trace solution? And
Yeah, so a lot of the insurers that we're working now are starting to get the message out there as well, that it's monitoring you need, not tracking. So
Okay.
tracking will tell you where it is, that's fine, but it doesn't tell you it's in danger.
right, okay,
or
it
any
might be upside down
preemptive-
and flooded.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know it's there.
But you know it's
Yeah.
there.
That's great.
Yeah, but no preemptive
monitoring
information.
is
Yeah.
right. Okay,
So-
information before bad things happen.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
it.
a lot of
Keep it,
captains
okay.
say, oh, it's okay, I've got a tracker, I've got AIS, but that's
Right.
not going to actually protect it. It's not going to protect your asset.
And also the accuracy of that is not quite so on. Let's get this right. The precision of something like GPS and AIS
Yeah.
is going to be a different level of precision
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
something
I mean,
like this. Yeah.
I mean anything. To be honest, that it's just down to the tracking versus monitoring thing. Yeah, I mean it's with AIS or any other small GPS tracker, it's fine. It just tells you where it is. It doesn't.
But
tell you what's
update
going on.
times are a lot slower, so
Yeah,
our
that's true,
RF
yeah.
will
That
be
is true.
almost instant.
Right, okay.
Whereas if you're stationary or moving, there's difference in the times for updates. Cellular wise, if it might drop out if you're away from shore, if
Right,
you've got
okay,
a
yeah.
cellular system.
And so, what system is it, and why does that work better when you're in the middle of nowhere,
Yep.
or within a marina, or
Because
all these
it
different
is our
locations?
own comms link, so it's a direct boat-to-boat link which we've developed.
Okay.
So as opposed to say using cellular, you're relying on cell phone masts.
Yeah.
Using satellite, it will work anywhere, but the time slow will be either slow or expensive because it's got to go all the way out there and back down the internet and then back to whatever you've got on the big boat. So we've got a direct link, so it will work anywhere because we control the.
Yeah, because its proximity to the mothership is actually probably going to be fairly short distance.
Yeah, that's it. You're in
that
miles.
You use that.
So,
yeah,
it's fine.
So it should work within 2 miles, our system, very fast. And then there is Iridium backup in case of a complete tender loss, so it can be tracked by a website.
Okay, and one thing we not mentioned that I just remembered is theft of tenders is also a thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
like people nick these things.
Even when you're towing.
Yeah.
Right, okay, what, so you spot it and go, oh, that's being towed, it's vulnerable, get on board.
I know of one captain who's lost a tender with a glorified pair of wire cutters they had, essentially.
Right, okay,
So.
And so when you're towing, there's often not crew on the tender at all. There's nobody on board.
No, you don't want them on there.
That's common practice.
Yeah, very common.
Right, okay.
Which is the bots.
It's just dangerous.
So this is basically the size of, there's 2 units, one that sits on the tender, one that sits on the mothership, plug and play.
Yeah.
So the tender side has got the GPS in there, the antennae, but you can hide that under a seat. So for anti-theft, it's fantastic because you couldn't even put
right, and they wouldn't know what it is anyway.
No,
like it could be a piece of safety, it could be anything.
Yeah,
and then
definitely.
right, okay.
So that's basically the size of it.
That's pretty smart. And the next thing is the whole. There's other players in this market. Why Yacht Trace? What's the kind of distinguishing factors?
Yeah, well, we've worked with a lot of insurers, so we make sure it ticks all the boxes for all of them.
Insurance proof, big one.
So some of them are a little bit more stricter. They want probably Iridium backup with the website tracking, so we do that. We're not reliant on AIS.
Okay.
We're not just a tracking, we're not just an anti-theft, we combine it all. And the beauty really is in our own RF link, isn't it?
Yeah, that's probably one of the key links.
And the RF link is a radio frequency?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah,
right,
okay,
good. Yeah,
radio frequency. Because
it's
that's our
IP.
IP.
So it will work in remote areas. It's also two-way comms. So for crew safety, you don't have to step on board the tender to set the system up. You can just leave it on, and then it acts as anti-theft also.
Okay.
Which is pretty unique.
So it's an alwaif system. You don't go, oh, we've started towing, activate.
You can set your parameters.
It's already there.
You might want to set them differently.
Yeah.
If it's if even garage tenders have our system, if it's out on rope, it'll just protect it.
Right. Okay.
Well.
And you do all that from the mothership side, so you don't have the chestnut on other systems where you've started towing and forgot to press the button.
Right. Yeah. Something went wrong. Yeah, but we didn't press the button, so we didn't know that's why it went wrong.
Yeah.
And we mentioned the importance of the insurance thing.
Yeah.
The insurance approval. I think it's a kind of obvious answer, but why are insurers so keen to have this type of system on board? And what does that do for the boat? Does it lower the premium? Is it just kind of comfort? What's the difference?
Well, different insurers will offer different packages really, but part of the towing plan, they usually will allow towing at night, longer distances, and of course away from shore, because it will work anywhere, with lower deductibles as well.
Right, so it's actually flexibility of what the boat can do as
well.
That's
probably the most important thing,
yeah.
Because everyone wants to wake up in a beautiful place in the morning,
of course.
But you want to move at night.
And no captain ever wants to go to the client and goes, no, we can't go there because of, safety protocols, our processes, and if they bought one of these things, they better have quite a lot of freedom, otherwise they're going to be pretty upset.
Yeah.
And then the premium's also reduced because the insurer's more comfortable with what's taking place. It's all measurable. Risk reduction, premium reduction.
Definitely.
Happy days. Crew safety. So we mentioned that it's normal protocol not for crew to be on a towed tender.
Yeah.
And so what difference does this make? Does this just reduce the need completely for crew to be on tenders? What's the big difference?
Well, I presume you've got to set up the ropes, but other systems you might have to go on there and set it up.
Right.
You don't with this.
Yeah, that's it. And because it's got a very low power draw as well, so you're not worrying about it flattening your battery. If you use your tender every 3 weeks, or we've got a solar system, it's fine. And then they don't ever have to think about it getting on the tender before they do anything else. They can concentrate on getting their ropes right and stuff right, and forget about this bit.
Yeah.
It's just another thing they don't have to think about, which is good because they're always so busy.
Yeah. The whole system is less powerful than a mobile phone.
So
right. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty low power.
Yeah.
And you have a sustainability angle. What is the sustainability angle for Yacht Trace?
So the importance of our system is it's fast install because it's wireless. So we've got a battery element for the bilge area, haven't we?
Yeah, we supply 2 bilge sensors which are wireless. They just take AAA batteries.
Okay.
You get them
Yeah,
anywhere.
There's a
nice,
shop ball.
easy.
Shop
Yeah.
ball, and there's the green heli case which is hidden on the tender somewhere, and all this is transferable to another tender.
Yeah.
So they sell and exchange these things all the time, and it means that they can keep this thing and move it to the next tender without any cutting,
Yeah.
destroying whatever's on there. But if you've got another system which has got a screen on the front, you don't have to remove anything. It's just literally just lift it out and put in the next one.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so what happens for the initial installation as well?
So usually they can get an engineer to do it, or often at the main it's been aimed at a crew install.
Right,
So
okay.
you literally just have to find 12 or 24 volt power, which is
Yeah.
pretty accessible.
For the tender
for the
side,
tender
yeah.
side.
Yeah.
And that's it. Put some batteries in, put those bilge sensors usually at the back of the thing,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah, but that's the level of plug and play. It's
Yeah,
literally
that's
it,
you'll
yeah.
send them a box similar to that.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
They'll get it, put it on the tender, plug
That's
it in,
it.
literally
Yeah.
plug and play.
Yeah.
They can do it. There's no kind of specialist engineers that need to fly out, all
No,
that kind of thing.
no.
It's on, it's done.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
one of the main premises of the design, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is they'll be in a rush. Oh crikey, we've got a system,
Yeah, of course.
and
Yeah.
it's another big cost install,
Yeah.
and it's another logistical nightmare as well.
Yeah.
Getting installed. So
Yeah.
try and
And because it's not hardwired, it's not throwaway tech, and we only produce in small batches as well, so that if we want to change stuff or, we can do quite agile.
Yeah.
we
And,
do bespoke mods as well for people.
Yeah.
We've got some weird mods that we've been asked for, like prop shaft monitors.
Right, okay,
to
yeah.
detect if you're towing and you've got water-cooled props. If the prop moves, you can 200, 300 RPM. Apparently, on this particular boat, it could wear out the bearings. So they can detect whether the props moved at all when they're towing.
Yeah, and so it'll lead into this wider monitoring thing of,
That's
it.
well, you did a damn good job monitoring on tender. Let's
Yeah.
monitor other things
Other
on the
things,
boat.
yeah.
It'll lead to predictive maintenance, all that kind of
That's
thing.
it. That's it. So that's.
Yeah.
and the off-gassing.
Oh yeah, and now we're working with a company that do one of the only. I think they do the only approved off-gassing for
approved.
lithium-ion off-gassing sensors. So we're working with hybrid tenders. So they're going to put this system on their hybrid tender, but they can also put it in the garage, and it still conforms to regulations because
Right,
our
okay.
system will be monitoring.
Right, because
those
the
batteries.
storage regulations, ISO standards, all that
That's
kind of thing.
it,
It
and
fits
you
that.
and you
Yeah.
can't fit a tender in an enclosure in a super yacht, so you need
Yeah.
these amazing sensors. So we're interfacing with those at the moment as well.
Okay, smart. And let's have a vision looking forward. So next 3 years, next 5 years. I've known you guys for a couple of years already. Where do you want to go? Where is this heading? What's the kind of plan?
Oh, that's your department, Deborah. No idea. To be honest,
Technical visionary.
yeah. I just do what I'm told.
We're enjoying meeting people in the industry, and I think the
industry,
more
yeah.
people you meet, the more opportunities. So we're very much go with the flow.
Okay,
we're
yeah.
very agile. We're sustainable. We're self-funded. We're going with the flow. We're enjoying what we do. We're enjoying meeting the people. And I think Dan's already been asked for about a few.
Yeah, we've got a couple of
Options,
other
haven't
projects.
you?
Yeah, one in the Middle East, which sounds quite interesting, which is
Monitoring fleet,
but more boats and monitoring whole fleets,
monitoring,
that kind of
and
thing.
then
yeah,
cyber security as well.
yeah, that's it. So there's
So-
a company we know quite well who do a lot of defence work at the moment, but they're getting into super yachts. And
Right,
I've worked
okay.
in defence, like I've worked on UAVs and UGVs, ground vehicles, and
Okay, yeah.
Robotic
and
dogs.
stupid
Yeah.
bizarre microwave ovens, bizarrely.
Traffic light
Traffic
systems.
lights. So we sort of drift. Some of those contacts are coming in and saying, well, we're trying to get into this market.
Yeah, that expertise would also kind of fit into
Yeah,
here. Let's make a
Definitely.
whole wider
So, yeah.
system about it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Super. Thank
Yeah.
you very much for coming on the podcast.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Everybody, if you enjoy content like this, make sure you're following here to see plenty more of it. All being well, we'll see you next time. This podcast was brought to you by Superyacht Services Guide. All being well, we'll see you next time. Bye.